Hello, everyone. Welcome to Physics 121. This lecture is to introduce you to the course. So this is going to be start with a brief introduction, and then I will lay out course expectations and an overview of the course. So I am Dr. Kelsey Funkhauser. You can call me Kelsey or Dr. Funkhauser or Professor. Kelsey's fine. I have taught physics at Everett Community College and here at Bellevue College. And my background is in astrophysics and physics education. I'm excited for the quarter. So moving on to course expectations. I'm just going to read you the statement on the slide. It's also in the syllabus. My commitment is to create a climate for learning characterized by respect for each other and the contributions each person makes to class. I ask that you make a similar commitment. In order for people to learn, they need to feel safe and comfortable in the space. For us, that is primarily Canvas as well as optional Zoom meetings. Actions that alienate, make light of, or attack the identities of students in our class are unacceptable. In our classroom spaces, I expect you to respect your fellow students with your words and your actions. In every part of our classroom, we support and respect all parts of one another's identities. This includes gender identity and presentation, race and ethnicity, sexuality, immigration status, socioeconomic status, age, ability, and religion. I'm also working to cultivate a space for learning. And as part of that, I have some specific expectations. So I do not expect you to get everything right the first time. Mistakes are part of the process in your learning. I don't expect you to understand it right away either. I mean, if you do, that's great. But again, you're learning. And if it all made perfect sense to you right away, you wouldn't need me. I do expect you to ask questions. Ask if something is unclear or doesn't make sense. Ask if you're stuck on something, need clarity, or just ask for help. And I also expect you to be supportive in each other's learning. So help each other. Plus, explaining your reasoning will help you learn too. And I do also expect collaborative group work. Group work means working as a group, not working near your group or virtually near your group. Moving on to the course overview now. The course is broken down into weekly activities, starting with lecture videos. You'll have 3 a week. This is one of them. So off to a great start so far. After you watch the lecture videos, you have 2 assignments to complete for credit. The first is the post-lecture self-check, which is several questions to check your understanding of the concepts in the lecture. And then you have a discussion board post. I'll get into that more on the next slide. After the lecture video self-check and discussion, you have an application assignment where you spend some time applying the content you just learned. There's also 1 practice assignment per week that will combine content from the 3 lectures. There's also 1 lab activity per week where you will practice lab skills and develop your conceptual understanding. And then we will have 3 quizzes throughout the quarter. So let's get into some of these in a bit more detail. So at lectures. So as I said, there are 3 lecture videos to watch each week. Each lecture video has 3 assignments connected to it: the post-lecture self-check, the discussion post, and the application assignment. The self-check is graded on completeness, not correctness, so try your best, but you also have unlimited attempts. So, excuse me. Generally, the discussion post will be a brief summary of the lecture and then one of the following: a question you have from the lecture, something interesting you learned, or something you're going to take away from the lecture. And after the post, you must respond to at least 1 other post to get full credit on the discussion. That will just be graded on completion. 5 points as long as you do the summary, one of the other things, and a response. And then finally, there's the application assignment where you apply the topics covered in the lecture. And this will also be unlimited submissions. So you can keep working on it to try and get the correct answer. And then there's also one practice assignment per week, usually with practice problems from the textbook. And this is a place for you to practice your skills and synthesize topics for the week. Then the lab activity, there will be one lab activity a week. You will use split simulations and the lab kit to complete the lab. There will be questions related to the activity, and you will submit your answers to the questions as well as any data collected. And there will be 2 more formal lab reports later on in the quarter, and we'll talk more about those when they get closer. Oh, and just to answer questions I imagine getting, oh, and it also says on the slide, make sure you get your lab kit. Lab kit is not required. You are welcome to get it and use it, but in general, my plan is to make sure that either you can use a simulation or your own at-home materials to complete the experiment. So there's going to be 3 quizzes during the quarter, and it's to assess your understanding of the topics covered. And you will also have an opportunity to submit quiz revisions for up to half the points back. And when our first quiz comes around, I'll give you more information on the quiz revisions. And here's the points breakdown for the course. Lectures, specifically the self-check and discussion posts, are 15% of your grade. The application assignments are 25%. Practice assignments are also 25%. Lab activities are 20%, and quizzes are 15%. Please notice that you cannot pass this class by only completing the quizzes, or really by only completing one portion of the course. Deadlines, in general, I'm pretty flexible, but I want to keep us all on the same track. So all weekly assignments are due Monday night. Reach out to me if you will need more time or if you need to access materials ahead of time. Now, how to succeed in this course? Do the work. That seems obvious, but I mean it. The course is structured so that you have to complete a variety of assignments to pass. This is because I want to ensure that you actually learn this stuff. Come to synchronous meetings or office hours to ask questions or work on assignments collaboratively. Reach out to help from me or your peers and try your best. Put in the effort and you will do well. Okay, what's next? This was your first lecture of the week, so now you have a post-lecture self-check and a discussion post and an application assignment. The discussion post isn't specific to the lecture. It's a post where you're introducing yourself to the class. The application assignment is actually a start of term survey for me to get to know you all a little bit better. But the post-lecture self-check is about the lecture. Please reach out if you have any questions. Take a look at the syllabus, and then you can move on to the next lecture. If you're watching this on Monday, it won't open up until Tuesday. I hope we have a great quarter.